Thanks for doing this, guys, by the way.
Yeah, we are live, by the way. Hello, Zizaro. We are back with an Link to the Past randomizer match between Jam and Buane. Casual boots tournaments. Maybe you can say us more about it, commentators. Please take it away.
I'd be happy to take it away. My name is Files, and I'm joined by my good friend Clearmouse.
Yo, Files, how's it going? Are you excited for Gem versus Buane? Have you heard of these guys before? Are they even friends of ours?
I mean, I don't know. They both got one-syllable names. I think a few of them have done a few runs of either the vanilla game or the randomizer. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah, I have a feeling the quality of this game is going to be mediocre. I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay, all right. So mediocre, based on I'm not really even sure what the relative comparison is, but yeah, this is mediocre is definitely pretty a strong understatement. These guys are probably like the best of the best. Buane last year, of course, in SGL 2021, I believe got second place, lost to Matt 79.8, has a pretty impressive title. Gem also has his collection of second place titles as well. I think dating back to SGL maybe 2019, but I think like on the ladder, Buane I think is global #1. Gem, he is I don't know, maybe number 3 or something like that. Like these guys are so good, and they're really good friends too.
Oh yeah. I mean, you all joking aside, we're very well potentially looking at the finals match right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean,
so it's going to be a banger, basically. Yeah, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, and yeah. So all right, so as part of this, casual boots tournaments, 128 people, have actually started in the group stages, and as luck would have it, maybe not as late for them, but for us, right? They happen to be in this case the same group, and as part of this series, they actually get everyone within the group plays twice. So this is actually the second game between the two. The very first one for the series. Oh, we have a hammer already.
Maybe the tracker is trying to imply that it's hammer time, and that I need to go get my parachute pants and start dancing. That is, that's at least where I'm going with this. Just kidding, it's hammer.
Yeah, Oh no, I mean it's always like, in fact, especially if it's like the very first item, we're always gonna be hammer time the entire way, which is gonna be awesome.
Exactly. It's nonstop. It's nonstop pants.
Nonstop. Yeah, exactly. Nonstop party time. That's exactly correct.
So we're probably gonna see pretty fast escape sequence for both these runners. Boots really dial up the speed, which is kind of the whole point of this mode. So we'll have to see what other fun shenanigans they get up to in regards to items. But for the most part, this escape sequence is gonna be pretty standard.
Yeah, right. So, maybe things to kind of call out for, at least for, items, of course, Nevenjosh, our awesome tracker veteran, has tracked so many, different races before. It's definitely going to help us, definitely keep an eye on what all the runners get. But, kind of as a note, we got a lucky shovel already. Gem is already smiling because, now we get infinite resources. It seems to certainly bring some luck on Gem's side more often than Buane. For those of you who may have been around for a previous race, Gem was 4 rupees short of bottle vendor money. First try dig, Files, if you remember. He got a blue rupee. And it was quite the times. Yeah.
I gotta say, one of the things that I like about the randomizer, and it's such a basic thing to talk about, but like, when you get the hammer early on, that changes your typical escape patterns, so now suddenly you don't have to do any sword spins, have access to the boomerang, and both these runners making good time with that hammer, instantly killing these guards. No muss, no fuss. It's just little stuff like that. It's always fun to see adaptations for.
Oh no, 100%. And in fact, actually, so without the hammer, and basically in this case to try and make things, speed things up a little bit faster, and you talk about, these guys being amazingly, oh my god, Files, are we gonna get Dark World access before escape?
What the heck?
Alright, well, I guess, be on the lookout for a Moon Pearl, or maybe even another glove, apparently, because, so far we've only just gotten, potential progressive items here.
No complaints there, I guess.
All right. So as I was going back to that thought about, in this case, like the escape time. So I would say maybe on average, if you're kind of looking at like a 505, 510, 515 escape time, you're usually pretty, happy with yourself.
With boots.
Yeah, with boots, right, of course, exactly, yes, with boots, being able to open everything, and I was saying something for these guys, they're definitely going to try and maybe aim for a sub, 5 flat, 505 type of time. They're going to be pretty happy, but of course that hammer is going to speed things up just a little bit more. Just you saw in this case the ball and chain guard died very quickly, right, with only 2 hammer hits versus kind of like the 8 slash.
Yeah, between that and the few guards that you're able to one shot.
Exactly.
Yeah, it could be a sub 5er here. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah. All right. So, and I can't believe I didn't notice this before when we first started. Okay. All right. So for some context, if those of you who have watched Gem and Buane in the past, that in this case Buane is a very much a Dark Link main, and Gem is very favored for the Pink Link sprite. So it happens to say in this case, not only was Gem's final name Gigi, which is actually very, something very common for Buane, he is also sporting the Dark Link sprites. Buane in this case actually having his final name be OK, which is actually quite for Gem. For game 1, in comparison, both runners were Pink Link, and I believe one of the goals that Buane had was in this case to confuse the commentators. So I believe this might be some collusion for game 2.
I'm not gonna lie, when I loaded the restreamer thing to start this, I'm like, did I load both of the what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
but then I saw the rest of their setup. I'm like, all right. Also, side note, I think Gem forgot to start his timer. Not that it matters, but I just had to make
you're right. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like we've got slightly less excitement in the back of Escape. 2 heart pieces, probably not going to turn that down, but nothing like, like a hammer or glove. So I guess we did find a map, so one more item is for all we know, this could be the pearl.
Yeah, I mean, all we know is that we do have to check the chest next to the priest.
Gem, dash, dude! I guess
I was gonna say, yeah, lost milliseconds there.
Yeah,
but, both these runners, like we talked about, Clear Mouse, sub 5 escapes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, certainly the hammer did help, right? Kind of shaved off a couple seconds here and there, but this is a very, very impressive, escape time. All right, we also got some dueling map checks. It's like green,
Hera Crystal, Eastern Green looked like.
Yeah, one, of course, being so familiar with casual boots and, of course, kind of going for that, really fast escape time. There was actually a reason why they don't do a map check until they get out of escape. But, you don't want to waste precious seconds of your, of your time, right? Just to, jot down a couple pendants and crystals.
I mean, who hasn't had some late night tired rando sessions where you accidentally press the map button in the dungeon?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Gem having pickle troubles, but opting not to pull the tree or check the crab.
Yeah, I think this might be something more, maybe like a decision that Gem makes kind of on the fly. Like, if he is basically set with at least, minimum resources to buy some bombs or something, going into Kakariko, he probably won't check resources. Looks like Buane at least just wants that information. Both of them got a little bit bullied trying to get up to the Lumberjack check, but we at least don't have to, in this case, defeat Aga for those 10 arrows. Oh, Cane of Burna. I hope in this case Gem is, at least familiar with Dark Link. He doesn't get too, disoriented with this.
Well, I mean, all the lineups for the tech are the same.
That's
so
true.
Only a complete weirdo would play a sprite that has non-standard shadows and stuff like that. I don't know what you're talking about. But yes, yeah, both runners opting not to pick up. I mean, I guess you have your 50 rupees for your bottle vendor purchase, and with boots, you're always going to have access to at least 1 bomb easily from the bonk rocks, and also apparently from a handy bird there.
Yeah. So thank you, Crow. And yeah. Actually, it's a really good point that you mentioned. Right, it's partially part of casual boots. We see on Gem's side demonstrating, the power of the bonk in this particular case before basically, grabbing his free bomb. Looks like Buane actually is just not going to care. He is going to bank on the fact that he, maybe he'll get bombs here in the tavern. Go buy some bombs if necessary. You mentioned that, right? You've got more than enough money to do so.
Yeah, I mean, he would only need, 9 rupees from a chest here in order to not have to deal with it.
Do you think the lucky shovel powers work on Dark Link? Because I mean, we all know that it's Gem's lucky shovel, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if it was specifically associated with the Pink Link.
No, it's Gem. He's a luck sack.
Oh, okay.
It follows him wherever he goes.
All right. Well, that one. Yeah,
or miasma of like a stench of luck, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess Blind Side actually does have more than enough bombs, but he's saving his frames though with his chest turns. I don't know if I've ever seen Gem do chest turns.
Oh yeah, it's spin speed. Come on, a Blind Side. You love to see it.
Oh yeah, this is. I mean, exactly. This is top tier execution. Like you definitely know that you're gonna have very very smooth. Natural movements from these guys. Nice hammer dash, by the way. We're getting bombs out the wazoo, apparently, in the well and Blind Huts.
Oh man, if there's one place you don't want bombs, Clear Mouse, it's in your wazoo. That sounds really comfortable.
You're right. Especially you don't want any like fire sources too while you're at it. You also have enough money.
That might burn out all those bombs.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Alright, so we have a mirror. We have more than enough money from the well. This is actually looking to be a really generous seed.
Those seeds are always the scary ones though, because then it's like, all right, I've got everything except for like one or two things, and then you spend a half an hour looking for those things.
Yeah. And that was actually a good point because we already saw 2 pendants right in the light world, which is green pendant eastern and regular pendant desert. So the likelihood of like Turtle Rock being a pendant is actually fairly low at this point, right? So chances are we might have to go, maybe search for like Medallion, Ice Rod, any one of those kind of like one-off items where they don't really lock anything.
Yeah, exactly. Although we haven't found Ice Rod excessively early, so that means that, Turtle Rock, probably a crystal, because that's how luck always works.
Yeah. You seem to have played this game once or twice before. Hey, look! Speaking of, we played this, yeah!
Wow, is this even blurred?
Yeah, it's something, something like that.
So, we've got our top-down Kakariko clears, and as you can see, time difference between the runners still relatively small. Gem's got a slight lead here from not having to take the extra across Kakariko Village, but still relatively close. And both runners remembering that they do indeed carry a digging implement.
I mean, how could Gem forget? Wayne might forget, or maybe he'll just skip it entirely, right? But there's no way that Gem would forget this.
Oh wow!
Yeah, let's not forget this because that is our second sword already.
Yikes! All right, so no lantern yet, so no technically in logic agate tower, but there's still a lot of overworld to check here. So
yeah, and the fact that so Eastern's a pendant. I don't know if that would basically push them over there earlier. Without a bow, if they're still looking for stuff. But yeah, South Shore, Zora area. They can certainly sequence break out some flipper checks as well. Lots of item dense locations for them.
So I was busy laughing at the game calling Gem a jerk. Buane, not a jerk. Did not hassle any rabbits on his way to flood the dam. Good guy, Buane.
Yeah, that's right. PETA is he's not on PETA's list at all.
He gets done with a seed and like he goes in the Triforce room and they just throw animal pig blood all over him.
Let's not maybe have too many protests here in Hyrule.
All right, so we got Mini Moldorm Cave, or as I like to call it, Generous Guy Cave, because he says he's a generous guy.
Yeah, these Mini Moldorms certainly weren't being very generous though. Had to actually take quite a bit of maneuvering. Buane's actually going to come here with sword beams. Actually going to be pretty nice, right? Oh man, really nice demonstration of them too. That's actually in a match that's so tightly contested and a lot of high skill. Saving yourself 5 to 10 seconds killing Moldorms could legitimately be all it takes. So Buane catching up to Gem a little bit there with that Mini Moldorm play. Yeah, and in fact, actually from their last race, like for the first 55 minutes or so, right, it was actually like within probably 10-15 seconds. Just happened to be a little bit of more divergence at the end. In that particular race. So yes, 100%. Like you really don't want to, or maybe not even can't even afford to give up time. For Gem or Buane.
Well, they both have over 600 rupees, Clear Mouse. I think they can.
Oh, okay.
You were speaking metaphorically. All right. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. All right, so we got our water walk set up over here.
Yeah, real boots this time. Buane, I don't know what that bonk was. It's okay, we're also gonna get a slightly different water walk setup.
Yeah, he almost had a crab party over there. I don't know what that was all about. That's when you show up to the party, but you're really, you're really upset and moody about it.
Yeah,
that's a crab party.
I guess that's what it's called for being crabby, right?
Exactly. All right, so nothing exciting in the waterfall wishing chests.
Yeah, and also nothing on the island as well. So I think it was just a piece of heart, so they're not gonna care. All right, a fairy in a bottle. I mean, they don't really have anything sequence break it out anyway, but they already got a bottle earlier, so they're
not. If it's a progression bottle, it's not the one that we're getting. So
exactly.
we already got one.
Yeah. I mean, they did also get a bottle from Mini Moldorm Cave, so they definitely know. But interesting.
All right.
Bombos.
The most useful of the yellow discs in this game, although not in the vanilla version.
Yes, that is true.
All right, both runners taking these. Potential way to get into Ice Palace. Potential dungeon opener. Potential fireworks starter. Let's say you're out camping Clearmouse and you don't have access to the lamp. All right, you've got bombos and you've got fire rod. What are you using to light your fire?
This sounds like a MacGyver question. And
I need 2 toothpicks, a snake skin, and some spit, and I'll build you a commercial landing.
Yeah, I don't think I'm talented enough for that. Or
the hammer dash into the back of Sasha.
Yeah, no, this is really good on
you love
side.
to see it.
Ooh. Hey, look at that. And already, right? I mean, pretty much identical routes, between the Dark Links, and we've already got our Dark World access. So Gem's gonna probably take his, very commonly seen Hype Cave into Stumpy and Dig Game. Buane presumably is gonna follow something very similar, but he might have a little bit more
I was gonna say, this might be the only place we see divergence. Some runners don't like to do Hype Cave early, and they'll go up to Kakariko or whatever, but as you mentioned, the similar routing at the beginning of the seed, I think the shovel linking a lot of potential routes definitely kind of collapsed the routes into a pretty straightforward one at the beginning.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, Gem misses the quick bomb drop there.
Yeah, this time at least he's not being bamboozled by all these enemies and, dying in front of Hype Cave or even inside Hype Cave is really not something that you want to experience. Again.
So that was, I believe, Swamp and Turtle Rock were our crystals 5 and 6.
Okay, and I did catch Pod was our last crystal, but you know what? Our awesome tracker again, Nerven Deutsch on it. He is so fast. Yeah, thank you so much, dude.
It's so much cooler than that Hype Cave.
Yes, that was actually very, very lame Hype Cave.
you could put that on your resume. Cooler than the Hype Cave from the Gem Buane match.
Speaking of divergence.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, we're definitely getting, so Gem looks like he's actually go over at least Bombed Up Tablet into Agina, maybe into Even Desert. Oh my gosh, dude, holy cow, what a reward.
Wow. See, Bombo's Tablet is one of those weird, in terms of routing it in with other checks, it's you can do it with purple chest checks. But it can be sometimes hard to route in depending on how much walking you or running around the world you want to do. So Gem opting to do it relatively early and definitely gets rewarded for it. We're going to be needing that red block producing rod in at least 2 dungeons here.
Yeah, and this is actually, some good, on the fly routing, on Gem's side, right? Just because, we picked up an early mirror that he definitely remembered, from Bottle Vendor. So now, he's basically able to combine, if I'm already going to do K45 into Stumpy, into Dig Game, Bombo's Tablet is right there. Very, very nice adaptive routing on his part.
Yep.
Gonna also make Ice Palace, once we get in there, post mid, it's gonna be a lot nicer, right? Because we do Icebreaker, and it's actually gonna be a good question when Buane goes over there.
Yep. Meanwhile, Buane taking a long walk for Catfish and is not rewarded.
It's not. I think also he did not also get anything from the pyramid. I did catch quite what it was, but it wasn't worth his time picking up. So
I think it was just some 3 bombs or something.
All right, so then definitely not worth his time.
Mega lame. All right, well, Gem now has enough magic to light his campfire with bombos, so that's pretty solid.
It still can't get us into the back of desert, though, right?
No, but, you could make some more. So
that's true. That's true.
Seems like a win-win.
I'm hungry now.
That's all it takes is mention of delicious chocolate and marshmallows. Wow, Gem opting to pick up the heart container with blue mail already. Surprising. Maybe the nerves are getting to him. He's like, I'm up against Buane. I can't afford to die. I'll take 2 seconds to grab a heart container.
Yeah, it's right there.
Although, honestly, with blue mail, that does make the value of heart containers even higher, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and we already have a mirror, so we don't have to worry necessarily about, any death warping. We can just basically get out of the dungeon immediately.
All right, Buane getting every single meme check done. We've got Catfish, we've got Pedestal has nothing. Way to ruin our fun, Buane.
Yeah, that's right. But I guess, with that early book, Buane definitely is looking in this case to kind of tie up some, to make sure in this case that nothing, extraneous can really hurt him. Looks like Jem might have the same idea, but this also just might be a, entry into Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, I'll bet you $1 million that Jem does not go into Skull Woods.
I will take you on. No, I won't. Wait, I won't take you.
You all heard it.
There's no way in this case that Jem's going to Skull Woods right now.
Verbal contract. You all heard it.
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Well, we got Mitts from. Was that Mitts from? Am I crazy?
Flute.
Oh, flute. Yeah, flute. I was like, something important happened, but yeah, it was the flute. Once again, our awesome tracker bailing me out. So yeah, flute from the. Honestly, getting the flute in the middle of Village of Outcasts always handy because it's just a quick mirror away from activation. So that is always handy.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, right, like, the mirror just makes everything, especially so early, makes everything so efficient.
Oh, yeah, and honestly, with, their routes split off a little bit on initial Dark World access, and now they're converging again, but, I'm not writing Buane off. The path to check Bombo's tablet is still in front of him, so, that's not a check I'm particularly worried about, at least not right now. But both these runners have a Boots, Hammer, Thieves Town to take care of, so this should be pretty, pretty standard business here. Both these runners are gonna be, we'll be looking out for fun stuff like, getting the God Pixel and Hellway and stuff like that. But for the most part, it should be a pretty straightforward dungeon here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're gonna clear this. More than enough, good equipment, safety-wise, right? They got Master Sword. I mean,
oh yeah, they got Blue Mail. They have almost an entire. Is that a full row of hearts? I can't see. Never learned how to see.
It does look like a full row of hearts. Actually, well, maybe Buane's so Buane doesn't have one fewer just because he hasn't gone to digging yet.
That's
but
true.
I think, in this case, I think Jem has a full row. And, they're both also very well versed with NMG, right? This is, I mean, offensive-wise, right? Equipment, like, this is pretty much what you have. They have a lot more defense, so they're probably not even worried.
Oh, no. With Blue Mail is such a powerful upgrade. Like, the difference between, like, Green Mail and Blue Mail is I think a lot bigger than, like, absolutely a lot bigger than the difference between, like, even blue and red, so. It just makes every Harkitator more valuable, so.
Oh, yeah.
Buane almost left that small key there. Meanwhile, Jem nailing the God Pixel on the Hellway there. You love to see it. Let's see how Buane does with the same. It's a pixel perfect trick.
Wow.
Oh, he got it, but the fire bar denied him.
Yeah.
Wow. That is cruel.
Yeah, I mean, you can just be like the best executioner, in this game, and sometimes the enemies don't always have to agree with you. Jem is demonstrating that, yes, in fact, the Blue Mail does give you protection. Only taking 1 heart of damage.
Does Hyrule kill a lot of people for crimes? A lot of executioner worries going on?
Well, I mean, Dark World certainly. Light World, they might be a bit nicer. I guess like the worst that happens in Hyrule is that you get called a jerk, right? And the PETA goes after you, and then
That's
you're not
true.
happy.
Well, but in Dream Zelda World, your name permanently gets changed to Thief on your birth certificate.
Oh, dude, no, that's so bad. That's like a scarlet letter just like following you everywhere.
Yeah, I would rather die. Yeah. I mean, that's just terrible. All right, so speaking of rather die, ooh, half magic.
Yeah, half magic's pretty nice.
I don't know where I was going with that segue, so I'm just gonna walk away from it. But yeah, half magic.
You mean segue away from it? Gotcha.
Yes, I'm gonna perfectly balanced gyroscopically segue away. That's what I'm gonna do. I've got a mall to patrol, Clear Mouse. I can't be bottled up with all this.
They still have malls,
so
right?
yeah, it's the Thieves Town, a large chest, only having a parchment in it. No one cares. Reading is for suckers.
Yeah, and I actually assume at this point, it was a 50-50. I certainly know that both Buane and Jem do count items, as they go into Thieves Town. So if this was, I think we already saw the compass as well. So, of course, no reason in this case to take the chance to just kind of leave that. But I think if they were counting and if it was both map and compass, they would have both skipped it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oftentimes when you This is one of those seed setups where it's like if you didn't have the hammer coming into here, you'd be very happy to have deduced that the map was in the hammerlock chest. But,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, in this case, like even if you didn't have the hammer, you would not have been punished, right? Because we saw the map was there, but you're always kind of iffy, wondering like, oh man, what am I gonna do if there is actually an item there? But there's everything's dandy. Nothing in this case you have to worry about.
Yep. Meanwhile, both runners. Blind is a pretty straightforward fight for the most part. So
would you say
Gem
that
remembered.
Would you say that is even a scripted fight? Files?
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, it is possible for that fight to go off the rails, but most high-skilled runners are going to end up, maybe you screw up like the 8th hit or something, like, and with blue mail and all those hearts, like there was never any real risk. So.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. And it's hard sometimes, right? Because like the chances of Gem or Buane screwing up that fight is just like so minuscule, right? But it's always kind of like a PSA, right? Just because they make it look easy every time does not actually mean it's actually easy.
Oh yeah, well and low percent blind can be kind of scary if you go off the rails. So.
Good job.
All right,
good job, Gem. Just like so Gem has the emote that once you basically get out of the village of outcasts, you basically just go straight over to the right, and he is staying true.
Skipping that Skull Woods. I think the real question here is going to be Buane says no to that heart container. He's like,
and he even beats the timer out of it too.
Yeah, exactly. No, the real question here for us watching is going to be: does Buane continue this route all the way over to Bombo's tablet, or does he get distracted by a shiny object somewhere?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the shiny objects that are in this area that are not Bombo's tablets.
Well, there are fancy rocks that can be like, ooh, shiny, like that's understandable.
That's true. It could be like fake gold, like pyrite, just kind of like lures him away, from where he actually needs to go.
The old fool's gold reference. Good work. Good work, Clear Mouse. I'm tipping my hat to you. You can't see it, but there's hat tipping.
Okay.
Right? I had to go get a hat.
All right. Okay. I have an already mental image of you, Files. You're wearing a hat. That's good.
Yep. And I'm tipping it. It's not a fedora. I'm not tipping it.
That's also good to know.
All right. So I think Buane is gonna end up with his red cane over here.
Looks like it. Yeah, and this is actually really good for Buane, and it's not like in this case Gem had any like real advantage other than the fact that he made a really good play at the very beginning. He has the Cane of Samara in his pocket. He definitely knows that it was advantageous, but he hasn't really been able to like use it right. No Ice Palace, no Mire, no Turtle Rock type of thing.
So the only thing something like that lets you do is you can kind of further keep in mind like, oh, I have like an Icebreaker Ice Palace, or like you can start thinking about that stuff sooner because if you just route by the seat of your pants in a game like this, you can sometimes get punished. So being a little more thoughtful while you're doing route checks like the Sagina's Cave, it's 20 seconds of just, you can be thinking about, how you want to route.
Yeah, and it's actually just kind of a consequence of routing, in Light World or even beginning of Dark World. Gem was actually not able to include Agina in his, like Desert Palace, Bombo's Tablet check. Buane was able to, but in this case, we actually just see that it wasn't very, it wasn't a very nice, check for Buane.
Not particularly. Ooh, we got the nice bomb long ladder climb there.
Yeah. Oh, look, we found boots. Our second pair of boots that are, nothing implied with logic. It just happens to be, in this case, because we start with boots, there has to be some replacement item in the pool for it. In this case, because it's a Hasaha bot generated seed, it is not the actual, like boots icon that you might see in ladder. It's just a regular green 20.
Nope. No, I guess it's ultimately more useful to have an extra $20, Like let's pretend that Gem was looking for Zora money right now, and he had already been to Zora.
Right, we want a second Bombos, right? What's better than one than two?
Well, yeah, you want to have 2 fires for making s'mores, Clear Mouse.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, more efficient.
Once you start making s'mores, people are gonna show up and be like, "I like s'mores, and I want to make s'mores," and you gotta have another fire.
Man, I really want a s'more now. It sounds so good.
That's all All right, so we've got no hook shot, so we're not going to have a particularly exciting Tower of Hair experience, but that's all right.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like Silver Compass was in the map chest. You know, I think the big key, big key was in the basement cage, so that means that we are actually able to go through. No fire source actually meant that, you know, if the big key, you know, were especially inside the basement and we got the small key instead, we would not have been able to go up to Hera. So Gem, with the big key, of course, you know, was able to at least climb.
Yeah, you can't. You can light campfires for s'mores, but you can't actually light torches with bombos, unfortunately. I'm just gonna keep mentioning s'mores as often as I can for you, Claire.
Thanks, Files.
Yeah, no problem. I got you.
Yeah. So speaking of Blue Male, Gem pretty much thinks he's invincible.
Well, I think he was because of the placement of that third and last flame there. He wasn't able to kind of hold his sword out and push past the rail like you have to sometimes. Like he just had to kind of take it in the face, and his iframes didn't last long enough, so feels bad, man. All right, Gem getting the hammer strike in on Moldworm. 3 hits should do it. Wow, that was a nice and quick Moldworm there. He cooperated. No crazy hard fast 360s, so that's always nice.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Get wrecked, you two. So that means there is an item in Hera basement, and neither of the runners have a fire rod or a lamp, so... And honestly, even if they did, I feel like it would be quite skippable.
Yeah, that's actually very true. You know, and the best types of skips that you can make is the ones that basically you can't do. You know, no fire source. You know, only Bombo S'mores creators. You know, we can't actually do anything in Hera basement.
Is it even a skip if you can't do it, Clear Mouse?
Well, I mean, you know, well, you're not. I don't know. You're skipping the item, whatever it is.
It's like, you know, I'm skipping out on this $1 million of the lottery winnings. It's like, well, you never actually had it, so did you really skip out on it? I feel philosophical question.
It does, you know, still cause some emptiness inside. How's that? Because I would really rather have the $1 million if you gave me.
You know, it fills up the emptiness inside real well, Clear Mouse.
You mean s'mores? Yeah, I'm ready.
Exactly. They're gooey and chocolatey. You're having a good time. All right. Today's race brought to you by Big S'more. Yeah. That's right. Big S'more.
Yeah. Marshmallow, chocolate, graham crackers.
You're having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also having a good time.
You gotta bring your own campfire, though.
He just had a pretty good Moldworm kill. Maybe not quite as fast as Gems, just due to the Moldworms twisting and turning, but still pretty quick. Did miss out on the spin speed there, but that's all right. I always feel like that's one of the more dangerous spin speeds for Buane, because if you come out of the tower and you go just a little bit too far, you jump all the way down the platform.
Yeah, that's not really something that you kind of want to experience.
That and the one next to desert. Ooh, okay, ice rod.
Oh,
wow, okay.
All right.
Crystal turtle rock, and ice rod is not a complete jerk. Where am I? Am I sleeping? Did I eat too many s'mores and did I fall asleep next to the campfire?
This is a sugar coma, basically. Yes.
It's a fever dream. Oh, wrong Zelda game. All right. That's right. That's the second reference I've made to Link's Awakening since this commentary started. If you're hoping for the trifecta, stay tuned, chat. I got you.
So
right,
yeah,
so
we're
actually, we're catching that mushroom.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. So I guess for what it's worth, there is the available option to fake powder. You know, we do have Kana Samari, we do have the mushroom, we do have the hammer in order to get over to Magic Bat. But you know what? It's definitely gonna be worth trading in for that fire rod.
You know, people talk about skipping Spiral Cave occasionally in the casual boots meta.
Oh, dude, don't skip Spiral Cave. At least not today.
Well, I think just because of the non-hookshot routing, Spiral Cave is just a little easier to route in, especially since you have mirror. Like you can mirror away the block. Like the opportunity cost of skipping versus not skipping. I think the math is a little different when you come at it that way. But and it's a good thing because there is a fire rod there. Now the real question will be is, I mean, mushroom is a pretty easy check if you decide you're going to do it. So it wouldn't surprise me if Buane heads there, but.
Yeah, it looks like, I mean, pretty much the same routing, right? You have to give me the mushroom. Hey, thanks, Buane, for the extra content. You know,
wow.
I didn't actually know that the witch said that.
it wouldn't be a Link to the Past randomizer extraneous text if it didn't have the word numpty in it. Thanks, Christos Owen.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So, by the way, the fire rod actually was the go mode item for both of them in the in their previous match. And Buane, even though he does have a sterling reputation to upkeep for last location to Fire Rod, and not finding it before his opponent, he was able to do so in this case. All right, looks like we actually do have some value potentially in Skull Woods front. Thank you, Dunka. Even though this is not a ladder seed, we do find flippers.
Somewhere Dunka's like at work, or he's like barbecue grilling, and he just looks up and smiles, and he's like, I don't know why. And then he just goes back. He goes back to his business. He doesn't know what's. Although honestly, neither runner. I wouldn't say either runner has been particularly punished for skipping Skull Woods until they had the Fire Rod. So I think I mean, what?
That's true.
Flippers aren't. Yeah, flippers aren't technically necessary for the stuff they've done. I mean, they'll need it for Swamp Palace, and you technically need it for Ice Palace, although not really.
Yeah, and I think like all the flipper checks they did earlier on the overworld, right? Like Zora, even though that's also glove locked, or glove accessible, but like Waterfall Fairy, stuff on the floating island just wasn't. I mean, it wasn't anything. They can now check Hobo, fairly conveniently with the mirror. But yeah, kind of in this case, if the value of the flippers really is basically to let you into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be curious to see. So there's one item left in Skull Woods, and obviously the correct play is to kill Mothula, just in case it's the last item is there. But I'll be curious to see if there's a third, or if there's the second item is not handy. How hard some of these runners will go to find it.
Yeah, and so the fact that Gem has already done kind of like the North Dark World, I'm not sure how motivated he is to walk out of Skull Woods. Buane, on the other hand, he might be more incentivized to do so just because he hasn't kind of really been up there.
Yeah, very true. It's kind of like a, am I ever going to come back here? How easy is it going to be to come back? Kind of a thing. Yep.
Alright, just map on Mothula, so that is not our second item. So Gem's presumably going to check the bridge chest, because he does the mirror, is very convenient.
Yeah,
he probably also will check Head while he's over here. I mean,
that's right, Buane's the one who looked at that before.
Right, and of course, this is going to save a little bit of time over Buane, just because he had to kind of make a separate trip over here. But I think Buane actually had a faster moth fight than Gem did.
Yeah, half magic Fire Rod really makes Mapula a pretty quick killer. It's not a dumb joke if I don't call attention to it. Wow,
you think Mothula would like s'mores? Because we can't really use bombos there, so maybe he could just enjoy the ride while we're there.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, but see, you gotta singe Mothula with that Fire Rod. I mean, you got burnt s'mores everywhere. Yeah. Although there are people out there, there are heathens out there that like their marshmallows, basically blackened. A nice layer of carbon on the outside. So I'm not here to yuck your yum if you're one of those burnt s'more eaters, but golden brown, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of like toast, right? Some people, really like their toast like super, burnt, singed, charred,
toasted. It's right in the name, Clayma.
Exactly. You're right.
But some people like white bread that has thought about being waved over a fire source. And that's fine, it's okay to be wrong. Wow.
Yeah.
Gem getting bodied by that. What are they called? Ropers or whatever?
Ropers. Yeah. Every single roper, by the way, decided to just basically swarm out. Gem. I guess he is just such a celebrity, right? It's kind of like paparazzi. But in this case, leaving Buane alone for the most part.
I like the idea of the monsters in Zelda, like just chasing around the runners, looking for pictures.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
All right. So Buane at least found the first item. Oh, okay. He found his first item. It's gonna be Gem's second item. A little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say he hasn't been in the front here yet, so it's a good thing he's not skipping because the flippy floppies sort of required for our dungeon setup here.
Yeah, and maybe, man, I don't know if Gem necessarily regrets his decision just because he already has a bottle. He doesn't actually care. Probably was gonna be good enough for him, but that was actually a really nice early bomb jump on Buane's side too. Really kind of demonstrating his abilities in NMG.
Oh yeah, and again, I mean, we kind of got off rails talking about delicious camp foods, but these runners both highly skilled. Like, I mean, it would not be out of the ordinary for this race to come down to seconds.
Yeah, looks like Buane is also gonna finish up his North Dark World checks. He's already kind of been over to Catfish, so he doesn't have to keep going over there. But presumably, Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb. Nothing really gonna help him out here.
I think this is the check that Buane has isolated pretty hard, so I make sense that he's going for it. But meanwhile, we get ourselves Mitts inside desert. It's kind of a tricky place for Mitts to be, because a lot of times when you have early beer and flute, you want to kind of include desert with, you know, your Mire area checks when you have Mitts later. So Mitts being inside desert does put a damper on that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so certainly, you know, good on Gem, you know, to kind of recognize. I mean, it's probably, you know, very straightforward, you know, for both himself and Buane, you know, is that in this case, I have access to a crystal dungeon that I can complete, or sorry, a pendant dungeon that I can at least go into. You know, I'm not going to necessarily wait, you know, in this case, to maybe see if I can get a backdoor, slightly faster way in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only other consideration would be for you know, something like Ice Palace or something along those lines. But now with Gems having his Mitts, the world is his oyster. So we're looking for what, hookshot and bow and maybe a medallion or two.
Yeah, well, what we certainly need, yeah, we have bombos. We do know that Mire and Turtle Rock are crystals. It might be a quick check over to Mire's shed right now to maybe take a peek as to what the Mire medallion requirement is. Also very interested to seeing when Gem will decide to go up the mountain again to do Dark Death Mountain. Maybe, you know,
he's going to hobo check. So this is a check that he, I don't know, maybe he's worried that his opponent maybe took a weird water walk route. All right, Quake for Mire. So we're on a hunt for Quake medallion.
Yeah, right. And so while Gem has everything to beat Turtle Rock inside, he's got, you know, the Cane of Samara, he's got both rods, amazingly. And we've got, you know, good sword on us, but we don't know the medallion entry. And maybe Gem just feels a bit more comfortable going up with like 2 medallions versus 1. Maybe he's just willing to take the chance, you know.
I think some of it was you want to get eyes on Mire to see what you need for it, because if it was clearable, like if he was Bombos, I think he'd have just done it.
Yeah.
And then also there's just all these other checks while you're there. So
right.
Meanwhile, Buane is going to Bolus Pendant Pod.
Bolus Pendant Pod. Interesting.
He's got bottles for and you know, he could always do the Mimic Clip or something like that. So I mean, there's ways around the bow requirement here, but be interesting. You know, you don't actually need necessarily to complete this dungeon. We know Pedestal is not live, so.
Yeah, and also, you know, for what it's worth, there is also Eastern Palace, you know, which potentially could have 2 or 3 more items available for him, you know, depending on, as you said, where that last item is, if it's bow locked.
Yeah, definitely.
So certainly, yeah, it could be, you know, just a kind of an item-dense location for Buane.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even though Bolus Pendant Pod is an option, you know, your Bolus Pendant Pod checks in Bolus Pendant Pod are going to be Bolus in Pendant Pod.
You said Bolus Pendant Pod quite a few times, Files.
Yeah, no problem. I got you, Sea-Dog, in chat. I see you. All right, so meanwhile, Gem opting to go into that Ice Palace play.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, right, he's got the Cane of Samara. This is a crystal dungeon. You know, he's got the fire rod. He's got half magic. He probably feels pretty confident doing so. Buane,
yeah, and honestly, I think... Oh, he's doing the pod hover.
Yeah. He did this before. It's very impressive.
Oh, this has got to be one of the hardest hovers in the game. I saw Ari in chat not too long ago, another practitioner of this difficult maneuver.
Oh, very,
so close.
very close.
I wonder if Buane was feeling a little behind because a lot of his out of the way checks, like catfish and what have you, have ended up not paying out. So I'm wondering if he's making this Bolus Pendant Pod gamble, opting to come back to it, or maybe he's going to take the long way around and do like a potion camera unlock or something like that instead.
Yeah. I mean, right, he has a green potion, so he should be more than capable of doing so. But I mean, like, if you can actually get the hover, right, it saves like an immense amount of time. And of course, you know, good on Buane to maybe kind of recognize to say, you know, I've already tried 3 times, it's probably enough, you know, time commitment. You know, I'll just go through like the normal way. The quote-unquote normal way.
Speaking of the normal way, Gem showing us not the normal way in using Icebreaker and basically trivializing the entirety of Ice Palace.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, it's so much faster.
It is. Yeah. So right. What? And you mentioned this before. So what are we actually looking for go mode? Not the cape right now.
No, not the cape. By my count, it's bow, hookshot, and potentially
And Quake for sure, right?
Potentially
Okay.
Ether, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know what's up with Turtle Rock.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's see. It was Buane's efforts. These are probably both small keys. Yep. Oh, Gem misses the spin dash into the spin into the stair on Ice Palace there.
I'm trying to remember if we have all 3 items. Gem is certainly acting like we have all of the items out of Ice Palace. I remember seeing something in the compass chest, and I remember seeing that cape. But, you know, if he's confident in this case, we've gotten all 3. This is a very nice layout for Ice Palace as well. Then basically, everything's gonna be on your path, and then you just basically go straight to Gold Stair.
Yeah, I was too busy watching Buane with the epic hover attempt. Yeah, we're at least at 2 items. Maybe Gem's just taking the gamble. Ice Palace, the 3rd item in Ice Palace could be a right jerk sometimes. So
it is in Ice Tea, which is on the right side of Ice Palace, right? I think.
All right, Cold Stare got slightly away from Gem, but half magic fire rod makes that pretty trivial. So
hey, look, it's a lamp on Buane's side. So, you know, while he did do those dark room, at least the rupee room, it is technically still in logic because he had the fire rod, but certainly certainly a little bit easier, especially this dark maze part, which is in logic now with a lamp. How convenient.
yes.
Although so far, outside of that lamp, though, I don't know if we've really found anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess logically, Pendant Ice Palace technically required ? But you know, your technically required item in. Oh yeah, Hobo was the other check that Buane had done. All right, you know that sword could be. I mean, not a terrible consolation prize if you don't get anything out of Pod.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The difference between Master Sword and Tempered Sword is quite significant, especially on Ganon. And given that we're actually, you know, it's not quite early game, it's maybe like early to mid game, we got a lot of bosses in front of us that could really benefit from Tempered Sword. Alright, looks like though Gem, you know, after his foray into his next crystal dungeon, which was Ice Palace, looks like he is, you know, saying, well, I guess I'm gonna go up the mountain now. I do have everything I need to clear out Turtle Rock. I hope I can get it.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to temper his expectations as to what I might be in here.
He would be really happy with that Tempered Sword. If there is one or other sword out there somewhere, yeah, this is just a regular casual boots. No, you know, special hard item, custom set, you know, etc. type of thing. We are going to find, you know, all 4 swords are available in order to keep. You know, there are 2 bows out there. Bows are still progressive.
Yep. I was super curious to see if... I mean, Hera Basement is such a lame check right now with everything you have available, but I was curious to see if the nerves were going to get to Gem, if he was going to bust it out.
Yeah, it makes sense for him to go over here first, you know, just because, again, if you have Bombos, you're definitely going in and you're clearing out the dungeon, right?
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Look, it is Bombos!
You called it, Clear Mouse.
Yeah, well...
Gem will go straight in and finish this up.
Mm-hmm.
And with half magic and blue mail, even with Master Sword, like this will be a pretty trivial experience as far as difficulty goes. I think even Trinex has a pretty low chance of causing him any issues. So
yeah, yeah.
The real question is it going to be the classic V27 bow and Turtle Rock kind of issue, or is it going to be something else?
I certainly would not be surprised if the bow were here. I would also potentially not be surprised if we don't ever find the bow. You know, I don't know how confident these guys are in their mimic clipping skills for upper GT, but you know, like Pod and Eastern are pendants, right?
Yeah, so, very true.
You know, if they never kind of stumble upon both bows, maybe they're just kind of buried in GT for all we know, right?
The nice thing about mimic clip is that the failure state is not too terrible. So you know, even if you spend like a minute and a half trying to get those mimics to go into the wall, like you know, depending on where the bow was, you might have still saved time. So.
Alright, so it looks like though Buane did not end up getting any real value out of Eastern Palace, which is really unfortunate.
Making a similar play here. Now he is basically an entire Ice Palace behind Gem and this climb to Turtle Rock at this point.
Yeah, right. And you know, and Gem's route has really worked out for him, you know, so far, right? And again, maybe it's just like a decision that just kind of worked out in this case on Gem's favor, right? Gem went to Pendant Desert, you know, got his mitts, and Buane went to Pendant, you know, Eastern / Pod, and unfortunately, well, I mean, he got a sword out of it, but it's not quite the mitts in this case that Buane was looking for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, in terms of consolation prizes, Master Sword of Timber is probably the best of the worst, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow, those chain chomps did not cooperate with a nice setup there. Oh wow! So I think Buane, I think Buane is just like, you know what? One of these checks is gonna work at some point. Oh jeez.
Oh my gosh. I think Buane might want to go back to, you know, the practice hack, or, you know, maybe, you know, just channel his NMG abilities, maybe for, you know, Hera Basement, trying
to be fair, that fire rod hit is not free. Like, you have to I think you have to start further up. Like, don't you have to? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it's okay. First try getting on the pegs. We definitely have a, you know, just as long as expected coffee break on our side.
It didn't cost him any time, and he technically broke that last tile about as soon as he could with a well-placed fire rod shot. So does it pay off? Does Buane get paid? He does not. Well, I guess he gets paid, but not in the currency he was hoping for. 5 rupees can buy you, I guess, maybe it could buy enough some more supplies and maybe one fortune. Some more
supplies? I like it. You know, I do like it. You know, we still have not been able to, you know, I believe we actually missed some s'mores opportunities when, you know, Gem opened up Turtle Rock with the Bombos medallion. So I'm really kind of looking forward to it on Buane's side.
I feel like if you were to camp anywhere in the Dark World, on the top of Death Murder Mountain is probably not the place. Although there's lots of lava or whatever in the background on some of those rocks, so maybe
doesn't it feel like cozy then? You know, well, you're on top of little, like, you know, Turtle Mesa, right? You know, on top of Turtle Rock. I feel like, you know, you're pretty safe. You know,
if you ignore just the few Lionels on that one part of Death Mountain, actually Dark Death Mountain is probably safer than regular Death Mountain with all the falling boulders.
Yeah, and the dead rocks, right? I think they're kind of like the ants version, you know, of a picnic. They just basically are all around, just trying to steal your food, right? And it's like you attract one, you suddenly attract 20.
Yes. Also, ants don't do 6 hearts of damage to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Just throwing that out there. Maybe fire ants do in this metaphor.
Oh my gosh, fire ants and fire-breathing dead rocks. I'm scared, Files.
We'll just think of all the s'more toasting they could be doing.
Oh man.
Throwing that out there. All right, so we've got Buane opting. I think Buane is definitely at this point feeling behind, and he would be correct to be feeling that. So I think at this point we're doing stuff like hook shotless swamp. I think he's kind of throwing a couple Hail Marys here because he basically needs them.
Yeah, I mean, right, and as you said, right, the sword, you know, the Tempered versus Master Sword is actually a very strong, you know, offensive advantage. However, though, Buane is actually looking for some type of progression. And right now, that sword is definitely not going to make up, you know, enough time for routing differences.
No.
So yeah, so Buane definitely really needs like something in here. You know, for example, if the hookshot is actually here, that's actually, you know, quite good probably for Buane, just because, you know, it's going to be one of the last few places that Gem's going to go look for the hookshot in.
Yeah, although Gem could make the only way I get bamboozled is if hookshot is in here, kind of a gamble. But
never mind. Oh my gosh, never mind.
Speaking of the bamboozles,
yeah.
All right,
my gosh,
so what could possibly be in here that would benefit Buane? I mean, hookshot going in here now, with hookshot in Turtle Rock is obviously just brutal because the time save that he could be getting from diving in here early, we know he's not going to get.
Yeah, well, I'm right, and kind of the issue is that, like, Buane's definitely gonna have to come back, right, with that hookshot, and Gem, whatever Buane finds in here, Gem's gonna be able to find basically right as his next stop, right, because he's probably taking the hookshot going straight over to Swamp. I guess
the only thing I could think of is if Bo is in left side swamp. Oh my God. But if Bo had been in left side swamp, that could have been something like maybe Gem comes in here in go mode or something, or go mode minus Bo, and he's like, all right, if I don't find an easy Bo, I'm just gonna mimic clip. You know, maybe Buane will get back, you know, because Mimic Click can be a jerk. Like, it can take a minute or two sometimes to get that set up, depending on how your buffering and what have you goes. So.
Yeah, and I think and I think Sleepy is kind of making a point, in chat about this. Is like, depending on how many items here are in left side swamp, right? The fact that we already have a bow in this particular, and we have the hook shot, right? Gem is basically just looking for that quick medallion. If maybe there's only, like 1 item, maybe even 2 items in swamp, Gem's not interested anymore.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. And yeah, I think, Arier mentioned it earlier too, like Quake in swamp is basically it, I think, for Buane. Like if Quake is in left side swamp over here, we could
Gem
still have
doesn't get
ourselves.
it, right?
Yeah, and we could have ourselves a game here. We'll have to see how it goes. Meanwhile, Gem finishes up Torok pretty well. He's going to be checking a hookshot cave here with his freshly gotten hookshot. Be curious to see if he's ever going to check Hera basement. Now would be the time to do it. So that could be some time that Buane gets back if Gem opts to do that check.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he has this whole swamp palace open for him, and he probably wants to, just like what Buane did, he probably wants to do Spike Cave alongside. I don't really see him doing that right now, because he can also just kind of get back there pretty quickly, like with the mirror.
Oh, I agree, but I'm just trying to think of of ways like how can Buane claw some time back? So we weren't rewarded with the right side of the left side swamp. Now we've got one more check left here. Oh my
gosh!
Quake.
Oh my gosh! That is not looking good for Buane.
Wow!
Is that normal for us?
Gem here.
Yeah. Oh wow.
No. I think the only hope Buane has is that if Buane gets on track with the rest of this seed, the one advantage that Buane has is he has that bow, doesn't have to worry about mimic clip, and bow could be very skippable for Gem depending on how he routes it.
I'm gonna assume that Gem is still not in. I mean, he's not in go mode, right? Well, I guess maybe he's probably gonna check compass chest. Like, I can't really see him skipping it all that much.
Buane is continuing to throw Hail Marys, and he's like, all right, I'm taking this bow.
I mean, he's trying to press his, he's playing to his outs, right?
You got to play to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we here in outside viewing land know that that's not the case. But honestly, if you're Buane, you're probably like, well, crap. I mean, I guess I better take this bow I found in Hookshotless Swamp and hope. Just pray that hookshot is behind here. I respect the play. I respect the play.
Yeah, I mean, or in this case, it is actually just a pretty, gnarly path in this case to the mitts, right? And he's already kind of made a decision to go into bowless pod, and then also bowless Eastern. So once he in this case finds the bow, this is definitely going to be stuff that Gem is not doing, right? So if he especially thinks that, I've already wasted all this time, and if it's anywhere else, for example, like Pendant Desert Palace, Gem probably is, way in the lead, right? So that's not going to be Buane's win condition.
Very nice. You see Buane's had some unfortunate routing implications here, but I mean, he both these runners are still like, you just sit back and watch the gameplay. It's like a very well executed Eastern Palace for the most part for Buane. A nice quick mimic kill there for the key, like just rocking these skeletons. Like,
oh my gosh!
Gem is skipping everything. He's a madman.
Dude, wow, I'm so impressed. All right,
we've got ourselves a couple of things that could happen here, Clear Mouse. All right, so ways that Buane can win this. First way, terrace cut power to Gem's house.
let's not think about that particular scenario.
All right, so I'm just throwing it out there. All right, so we got power outage issues. Second way, it takes Gem 7 minutes to complete Mimic Clip.
Or he just can't get Mimic Clip. And not, of course, to bring any, bad memories upon anybody, especially Mimic Clipping after either no practice, lack of, familiarity, or just, a little bit of race pressure. Gem's gonna have to go, if he doesn't end up succeeding Mimic Clip, he's gonna have to go find it. And the bow, we know, of course, one of them is in, Swamp Palace, because Buane get it, but at the same time, like, he doesn't know that, right? And also, is Swamp Palace appealing at all?
I mean, if I were Gem at that point, I would just be like, all right, middle of the race, I'm opening up a tutorial video. Like, we're doing it live. Like, I gotta refresh myself. Because that will be, like, if you're already there, it's got to be faster to do that than to go anywhere. Yeah, who would do that, right?
Exactly.
Who would have to do that?
For the record, Jem has Mimic Clip before, but you know, I don't know when the last time he did Mimic Clip was. He could certainly practice stuff offline that, you know, we don't ever see on stream, but certainly might be something that, you know, he is very conscious of. I am impressed, though, that
relatively decent cold stare there. Jem had a little trouble with the dash pokes there, but
you mean
ultimately
Argus?
Argus, sorry.
They all look pretty puffy, honestly, and I think we just all have s'mores on our minds, so, but I don't think Argus is little, like, our guy are very
I'm just thinking about golden brown marshmallows in the fire. Exactly. That's all I'm thinking about. Alright, so Jem is basically... he's gonna grab a potion?
Yeah, he might be, just because he's on Master Sword still, you know, he may not feel comfortable, and no lamp, right? You know, maybe just kind of gearing up for potential Ganon.
True. I mean, I guess I was thinking about Misery and Mire because he's got cape and half magic, but yeah, I mean, I guess
that's also true too, right? Because yeah, it's okay. So Mimic clipping, you know, certainly going to be one of those gating factors of, you know, upper GT, but also, you know, with the bow, especially for any, you know, type of fast vitreous phase 2 fights, you really want that bow.
Well, he might also
doesn't
be.
have it.
I just remember that he doesn't have Lantern, so if he's got to do Master Sword over this Ganon, you know. Even with the torch glitch, it's good to have magic back up there just in case things go off the rails. All right, speaking of off the rails, we've got poor Buane over here.
Trying to do some icebreaker here, yeah.
Icebreaker being a jerk. All right, nice Mire 2 from Jem.
Okay, so, and this is also potentially interesting. You know, there are 2 items here in Mire. Jem is gonna have to go find the big key, so maybe for Jem's sake, or, you know, from his perspective, he's like, well, maybe the big key will be late, and then I'll be able to get at least both items. But I think if he just get the big key, like, he's just going. Well,
I mean, if Jem ran past, I mean, I guess he did pick up the easy items in Swamp, you know, the ones that you literally walk right by, so it's not like he's completely abandoned everything, but you know, it's he's still hoping for that. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's at least one item. You know, maybe Jem is just gonna hope in this case that the other one, you know, Bo's gonna fall straight into his lap. And of course, for what it's worth, there's also the GT Big Key, you know, hunting game as well. You know, especially if that GT Big Key is late. You know, the other bow could be in GT. You know, we've only seen one bow in Swamp, right? We don't.
Actually,
know
the worst possible outcome for Buane is that the other bow and the other sword are both before the Big Key in GT, thus ruining every possible advantage that Buane has in here.
All right, well, we're unless the last item is on Vitreous, we're definitely not seeing the rest of Misery Mires. Jem just found the big key in the compass chest, and so we're going.
Yep, gotta go fast. This is the last crystal dungeon for our friend Jem here. So it's going to be a quick jaunt up Death Mountain to go fight triple blue ball wizards.
That's true. And I guess for what it's worth, another advantage, I guess, that, you know, Buane does have is that he does have that lamp. We're going to come up here for a couple of dark rooms on Jem's side. Yeah, and...
A cleaner cold stare fight than Jem had.
Oh, yeah. Buane also has Tempered Sword. I think, you know, he's kind of falling back probably to his NMG muscle memory.
Most definitely. But still...
Oh yeah, no. That's for sure.
I'm trying to give the poor man some props.
No. Buane has played very well. It just happens to be in this case that, you know, he made a slightly different decision going into Pendant Pod / Eastern versus, you know, Pendant Desert, and he's just been trying to like press his routing, you know, progression since then. Execution wise, he's been doing quite well.
Yeah, Jem trying to do the spooky and just could not get it to work there, and I think he ended up having to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, right, and this is, you know, again, something that Buane doesn't have to, you know, kind of fumble around in the dark for. He does have the lamp from Pod. Gonna get probably a little bit of time over Jem, you know, for this. Well,
to be fair, Buane has done plenty of fumbling around in the dark, metaphorically, earlier in this seed.
That's true. That's true.
No, through no fault of his own. Although I guess I don't know who else's fault it would be.
All right, so Gem's starting his Master Sword fight. So he looks like he's actually gonna do a couple of damage boosts, off of the slime. Only does 1 heart of damage. Like the 3 hearts now with blue, or there's 2 hearts
He's doing
now.
a good job at standing right at the edge of the damage range for the goo on the.
Gem. See, this is actually sometimes I wonder if red mail is actually better.
That could have been a lightning hit right there.
Yeah,
he got lucky.
Yeah, so so blue mail, I think people are still relatively. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I think we were wrong. That potion was for Vitreous.
It's definitely gonna be for Vitreous, whether he liked it or not.
Well, see, the thing is now that he has the potion, he can take a hit. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say his aggression will mean he'll kill it without taking the hit, but that's not.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
See,
honestly, they're so rich thanks to the randomizer that it takes all of like 30 seconds to buy a potion and leave again. So that's a lot better time loss than dying.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And I honestly wonder if that fight would have gone differently if he had blue mail. Like, not necessarily just because he took all the damage, but especially with red mail, it almost feels like you basically are invincible. So I think maybe sometimes people will just be like, oh, okay, I got red mail. There's no way I can die here. And then suddenly you're in Gem's position with only 1 heart after the big eye does 2 hearts of damage to you, and you're just like, oh.
So yeah, he's going back for another one. He's like, screw that. I mean, he's already got a green potion in the bank, but so we're headed up to Death Mountain. Meanwhile, poor Buane is on. I mean, he's got to be running out of. I guess he's not running out of checks, but I mean, it's rough sailing for our friend Buane over here on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, and he recognizes, I'm sure, that he does have the option of going up to Turtle Rock, just like what Gem did, right? But I think he also sees that if something is actually in the path, right? Whether it's Dark Death Mountain or in the dungeon itself, he doesn't have a chance of winning. So in this case, he's again playing to his outs and hoping in this case that some of his out of the way locations are going to pay off for him.
Brings Gary's lunch back over to Gary, and I assume he's having s'mores for lunch. So
yeah, that would be actually
Buane's
great.
probably like, I'm just gonna sit here with you and enjoy deliciousness. Alright, well, both runners on Death Mountain at the same time, but we've definitely got a different item layout and crystal layout. Alright, so Gem on his way to GT. I think, again, the worst possible scenario for Buane is if there is a bow on the way to the Ganon's Tower Big Key, because that is the only ace in the hole that Buane has right now. He is up a bow over his competitor, so
yeah,
we're going to find out real quick how comfortable Gem is or is not feeling about Mimic Clip, depending on where that bow might be.
He has played the rest of his dungeons, post Quake, as if he was okay with Mimic Clipping. So I guess in this case, we're just gonna have to see what happens.
Yep. I mean, he did check the chests that were literally right there, but that's a reasonable time check because if the bow was there, you'd save time. Because even if you do it correctly, Mimic Clip does take a while. You got to do all this pause buffering and.
Yeah, and he's got 2 rooms to clip through, right? It's not necessarily just for pod, right? So he's got Mimics 1 and Mimics 2. Alright, so he is in this case taking, the Gem Imposter route, which is the Buane route, into GT. Potentially also influence, maybe, that we get a couple extra checks along the way.
I don't think Gem will be too sad about having to. The later GT Big Key is, I think, like if it's real far back, like if it's behind Ice Armos or something, I don't think Gem is gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be too sad about that.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Buane committing ritualistic Harry Carry over there, falling off the cliff instead of throwing the Samari block down, expressing his frustration.
He also does remember that he does not have the hook shot, just like also on Gem's side. We actually went the correct direction.
Yep, it wouldn't be rando if you didn't accidentally go the top route there and have to immediately turn around.
Exactly.
I would never do something like that.
No, of course not. Nobody has ever done that. Not on Restream,
in the history
not
of
races,
randomizer.
exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, it's a nice full magic drop there on Gem's side too. So
yeah,
basically...
that's always. I mean, even with half magic, sometimes. There. See now, Gem is going to check here for a bow. Does he get one? He does not.
You get a vanilla compass though.
Yeah. Was that
Hey,
is that
man.
no compass?
It is. It's a compass room, right? And that's like the chest that
yeah.
spans all of the pits because
Yeah,
it's the
I was thinking of
compass.
the map room. Yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
All right, so here we are. All right, so
Okay.
Gem has
Gem.
Gem has about 8 minutes. to
8
complete
minutes.
This
He
mimic clip.
has more, right? Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
he's
a
got to
little
have
bit
more than that. He's got an entire Misery Mire and the rest of Turtle Rock and the rest of
And a mountain climb. Yeah.
and a mountain climb. Yeah. All right. So, all right. Gem's got 12 to 15 minutes.
I mean, you know, okay, the fact that he still has to go get this Mimic Club is actually something that is non-trivial, right? You can think in this case that Gem has quite a bit of lead. Gem, for one, by the way, doesn't know that he has this big of a lead. You know, for all he knows that Buane
he could be
is,
sweating
you know,
bullets right now. He's like,
exactly.
oh god, Buane is right behind me.
Yeah, and you know,
this is a tricky clip. So every time you pause buffer, you use the mimic moving over. I think it's 2 pixels to the left, further into the wall every time for that very initial movement. So every time you pause, yep, you can see he got 1.
all right, 1 down, 2 down, 2
All right,
more
that
left to
was
go.
the-
Great job, Gem.
So he's demonstrated that he knows how to do it.
Do you think he has a tutorial pulled up next to him? We can't see anything on his. We don't have anything on his webcam.
He's looking at that GIF in the Zelda wiki or whatever. There's like, but no, I mean honestly, he got that first one pretty fast. So this is someone who knows what they're doing. So, but yeah, it could be tough. Like even if you know what you're doing, it's a ton of frame perfect inputs. Now, granted, the failure for missing an input means just means you get to try again. Like you don't lose your progress. For like the mimic doesn't come out of the wall if you miss the input, only if you screw up the input.
Oh
so.
my gosh, Gem.
Look at that!
Wow.
All right, 2 mimic clips, and
that is very, very impressive. Yeah, not only and you mentioned right, not only for time, but also again, this is somewhat of a higher pressure situation, right, for Gem, and especially like the longer you take, right, the more tilt, frustration, nervousness, and gets in your way. Just like, oh my gosh, like the longer it gets, like probably the less of a chance you have. But this is really, really nice.
If I were Gem, I'd be reasonably happy with that outcome.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't the fastest, but he sure as heck got through there relatively fast.
No,
so.
that was extremely well done. Gem also must be feeling, I don't know, and again, I don't know if runners in general really ever feel good about a race, right? But I think, like, for what Gem has done this season,
randomizer's a nightmare. Clear mouse.
I mean,
it's nothing but pain. Every time I play it, I'm like, why am I doing this?
That's probably true. But I mean, for the decisions that Gem has made, right? This seed has just worked out so well for him, right? Immediately going over to Desert Palace to get his mitts, and then everything else was just on the way for him, right? Everything was on Dark Death Mountain, in the dungeons themselves. Didn't even need that bow. For all he knows, the bow is just, somewhere else that's could be buried in GT basement, right? Could be in pod, right? Yeah. And who cares?
Well, and
right?
most of the skips that Gem have done have paid off. Didn't have to do Hera basement. I don't think he ever did Catfish. He did end up doing it. Didn't he end up doing Hobo or something like that? But I mean, most of the skips that he did or basically all of them have paid off. And unfortunately, the same cannot be said for our friend Buane, who just got a little bodied by some of the routing choices here.
Yeah, and again, Buane is a very calculated risk analysis person. He definitely knows what in this case that could be advantageous for him, and he was just definitely playing to his outs, right? He
Buane has to know he's behind right now. In fact, he's like, all right, what's on here?
There it is. Yeah, he already went into Swamp once, and he didn't get anything out of it. So he probably already knows that was unfortunately not a good investment in his time. But kind of seeing the hookshot right there, right? He knows in this case that Gem probably didn't do what he did, and then he's gonna single dip Swamp Palace.
Yep. And again, his not only hope, but one of his few hopes there was left side Swamp Quake or something like that, and ended up not paying out. So I think he knows. I mean, he's got there's a potential that he might be aware of the bow mimic clip play, but I'm sure he knows that Gem is as capable as he is of doing a mimic clip. So.
Yeah, all right.
Gem checking the chest there. I mean, he was hoping for a cheeky sword drop.
Yeah, he doesn't care about if there are potential silvers up here. He probably doesn't ever want to see a bow just because he mimic clipped it out so well.
Bow would be funny in the
and this. Oh no, Gem.
All right. Gem can afford to do that about 40 more times.
Alright, you're not wrong, Files. You know, Gem in this case cannot be defeated by anything, right? You know, red mimics, you know, for the bow, you know, no problems. Moldorm, though, without guardrails, is still.
I mean, I'm just saying, the power company could make the difference here.
That's
the old German infrastructure. I'm just saying.
That's, you know, infrastructure is no joke. You know what is a joke? That's 20 rupees.
Yeah, the validation chest is not there for us this time, but that's all right. So we'll see a fun Master Sword Silverless Ganon, but not only that, but it'll be lampless. So Torch Glitch will be important to get. Although we do have half magic and 2 full magic bar bottle refills, but still not a bad setup for a triple.
Oh, but he saves the double.
He did. I was like, hey, he completely whipped it. But no, he saved the double.
Oh my gosh,
that could have been a double triple there, but that's all right. It's all right.
That was a really nice cycle too, though. Yeah, but of course, you know, a 3 cycle, I think anyone's gonna be happy with that 3 cycle.
Oh yeah, you're always happy with a 3 cycle, especially given that Aga can be a blue ball throwing jerk sometimes.
Exactly. But yeah, 113 dropping into Ganon. You know, even though Gem is on.
Gem's gonna finish up this when Buane still only has 5 crystals, and it's just gonna be brutal.
You know, I'm really glad you have such high confidence in Gem. I'm optimally cautious. You know, about Gem's performance. You hear Ganon. This particular fight is very difficult. And you kind of already see Gem taking out the cape, just so in this case, nothing bad really happens.
Strats feels bad, man.
Oh. I think that's actually probably one of those strats where Gem doesn't feel as comfortable doing it. Like he probably wants more practice for it before actually doing it.
And honestly, with all the safeties he's got right now, and he's gotten quite a few, like getting that extra trident double spin there is not nothing. So plus he got Ganon in a really good spot.
Oh yeah, this is one of the best spots.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, he's just gonna lay into him with these sword spins. Yep, yeah, capes, very well done. Was that enough? Yeah, it was. Yep,
wow,
that last double spin was enough. Yep.
Man, already on to phase 3, basically. Yeah, that was actually a very, very nice fight on Gem's side for phases 1 and 2. You know, especially without Samaria.
Oh yeah, definitely. And meanwhile, poor Buane has to
you have no bow, Dingus. We're getting all these really nice new text boxes that we've never seen before.
Like, how are you even here? Question mark.
Yeah. By the way, very Torch Glitch at this point is almost imperative. You know, maybe not necessarily for the particular time difference that we know. We can see the difference between Buane and Gem. You know, Gem would probably take more minutes. Oh my God. Let's not fall. Let's not fall.
But yes, it's just for speed of killing Ganon with getting these triples, but also it's a lot less work on your magic meter. Even though you've got half magic and 2 refills, it's it's 24 Master Sword spins or something gross like that. So
yeah, right. And it's also like not good for morale, I would say, right? Especially it's like, you know, you're already facing down a pretty long phase 4. The fact that you missed Torch Glitch and you're just like, where the heck is my opponent, right? Because this basically gives them like, you know, a third more time basically on phase 4, you know, over you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Gem's done a pretty good job of getting triples here. A couple misses for some difficult layouts, like this one here. Oh, he still got it! Wow, calling me out. Alright,
Buane kind of demonstrating that there's a reason why he is a 2-spin main on Argus Phase 2. Fire Rod has never really, you know, been his friend, I guess, that one. So, but he does take down Argus.
Buane's good execution and Swap made me a liar because he's going to be picking up his 6 crystal before Gem picks up the Triforce. So,
well, with that, get your GGs out in chat for Gem. Amazingly strong performance. Heck of a time in GT. Let's see what the official finish time is on him winning this race over Buane. 1:16.22. Very nicely done, Gem. Even complete with a Mimic clip on top of GT.
Yeah, very, very well done. So yeah, I think this was just a story of some of Buane's outs not happening, and Gem just kind of routing very well. I mean, both runners executed very well. That's there was not really ever going to be a question of that, but yeah, some of the routing choices that really ended up making the difference here.
Yeah, and it does actually look like Buane has forfeited, at least in the race room, but looks like he at least potentially is going to at least finish up this check. So definitely get your GGs out in chat for Buane. He, again, played very well. It just happens this case that the early divergence, between Buane and Gem, Buane decided to go into Pendant Pod Eastern, Gem went into Pendant Desert and found the myths there, and then Buane was just trying to play basically to his outs.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like I think we're going to be joined by both runners soon here.
Yeah, that's great.
Into the booth. So we'll get to see some post race discussion / salt / some more enjoying. But yeah, I think it was definitely a fun race to watch. There was a lot of cool stuff that went on in the scene. It looks like we are joined by our good friend Gem. Yo, congrats,
Gem,
GG's on the win.
GG's.
Yo, thanks.
Dude, super impressive run. I mean that mimic clip. Did you have to pull up anything for that in GT? You just did it?
No, I mean I know how to do it, but as you could see, I'm pretty bad at it.
Pretty bad.
Oh, you had a pretty solid. I mean those mimic clips went pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, they were okay, but I mean, could save like a minute there.
Sure. Well, I mean, think of all the time you saved over finding the bow.
Yeah. Hey, Buane. GG's. How's it going?
Hi. Is it in desert?
I mean, I know how to do it, but as you
What's
can
up?
see, I'm pretty bad at it.
How's it going? Is my go mode actually
bad.
still in
You
desert?
had a pretty
Wait,
solid.
what are you
I mean, that
Oh,
was
wait.
clip
Did you
well
not
for
do
the
Super
most part.
Bunny?
Oh no,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that's true. I just pieced
I
out.
know.
I knew I was screwed.
Could
Like
save
the moment I picked up the mitts, I said, "There's almost no like
Sure,
route
well, I
that
mean,
even
think
wins." I was just trying to find my go mode here because I figured it was just going to be either in Swamp or Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, that's rough. That's just brutalized by the mitts, man. My mouth was like agape when it was not Green Pendant. I was just like feeling like, okay, this is a little of an annoying seed, but I'm 100% on the right path, right? And from that moment on, I said, I'm probably not even close.
Yeah, we figured you were throwing some Hail Marys when it was like when you took the bow from Swamp Palace and we're doing checks with Eastern and
yeah, but that still
Ottawa
felt
had-
fine. Like honestly, it still felt fine. There's like okay, bow is gonna lead to there's 2 items on Ormos. Let's go get them. I am so shocked that the mitts ended up being in desert. And I didn't even feel like desert was good to go back to. Like, I didn't want to go in it early, which I guess, Gem, I'm assuming you probably did it like first trip around the light world. I don't even know.
No, actually, I did it after the first Dark World trip. I figured
Alright.
I'll do desert first, just in case Buane went there.
Right, so
Dark World.
I didn't go there because I figured, all right, if Gem's gone there and something is there, that's bad. Because I'm pretty late getting there. He could have gone there really early. But also, if he went there without a fire source, it could be just an item on Landmo, so I can let Desert sit. He's not going to double dip Desert if there was an item on Landmo he couldn't get, so I'm still fine with that later. And no, just mitts right in the first chest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I had almost no chance from that point on. I can't even think of just Gem forgets how to mimic clip was like maybe on the back of my mind. But also I'd cleared so much of the world that silvers were probably just going to end up in GT anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I was worried that Gem was going to get to GT and like find, because like the only thing you got out of your first pod check was Tempered Sword, which is like the worst consolation prize ever.
Yeah.
So I was worried that Gem was going to get like the extra bow and the extra sword in GT and just like ruin all of your dreams. But it turns out your dreams got ruined earlier in Desert Palace. So
yeah, it sucks. It was kind of a lousy race, I guess. But what you gonna do?
I don't know. I had a good time. You guys both showed off some nice moves, some cool tech. And even though you were in some of the wrong places, Buane, you were doing them very quickly.
Yeah,
I guess
execution-wise,
that is,
it was quite strong.
I felt pretty good. Like I said, until Zahashral did not give me what I was looking for. I felt like it was okay. Obviously, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, hey, if it's just something in desert that I had available at 9 minutes, and Jem went there very early, which he could have, I'm dead. But you have that scenario in literally every seed that you play, so
yeah,
it's not like you're super worried about it. But
Mitts in desert with early like flute and mirror, it's like you really want to tie those locations in if you can, and
yeah, I especially usually because when you're missing a piece of that is technically Dark World access or whatever, like a hammer or glove or mitts, you can usually kind of feel it by what you're not finding in the rest of the seed, because usually that stuff's going to lock a lot of other things, like hammer's going to lock a lot of stuff, one of the gloves is going to lock a lot of stuff, but I was finding these little item chains and things just kept turning up, so it wasn't one of those, boy, I haven't found anything for 20 minutes, it might be back in desert. It kind of just felt like, all right, it's a little annoying. You had to go into swamp to get your bow, and I decided to stay. Maybe Jim decided to leave right after the bow, and now he's gonna go and be able to get to. Oh, it's not even here. Well, okay, it's probably GG.
Sahasrahla crushed all your dreams.
Yeah, real sad. But what are you gonna do with the time that Jem put up? If I had gone into desert when I was thinking like, hey, maybe it's time for desert, probably still don't win. So, that's maybe Jem just bails me out there regardless, because that's a super good time for the seed, however you played it.
Moldorm was really trying, by the way, to knock Jem off, and we needed that to happen like 40 more times or something.
Dude, that was so bullshit. I did the hookshot thing, and he still just hit me off.
That was actually your, both your Moldorm fights had a little bit of bullshit in them.
Wait, what was about the first one? Wasn't that one just fine?
Oh no, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of sorry. No, you crushed it. You nailed it.
Yeah, this was a very, very impressive time. Jem. You made all like the really great decisions, right? All your decisions kind of paid off. You went to desert first, but also the fact you mimic clipped out, and you were definitely very confident. Oh, by the way, the bow was in Compass Chest of Swamp, like the bottom one. We were actually, I thought maybe you would have gone for it, missing a bow, because I didn't think it was too out of the way. But no, you just went right through, and then, you definitely proved us you didn't need it.
That just takes a bit of time, I guess.
Yeah, it does.
I'll be honest, I was actually getting concerned because I have no idea if I can remember how to mimic clip, and I was a little afraid that we were just not going to find a bow, and I was going to get to GT and embarrass myself. So I guess the seed could have gone worse from my perspective.
That's thinking positive.
Yeah. I think I could, if I stood there for a couple minutes, I could probably remember like the inputs and how I held my controller and things like that. But it has been a while since I've even tried it, so I'm sorry to have denied everybody that spectacle.
I was worried about the same thing. Like, what if I just stand there for 4 or 5 minutes until I finally get it?
Well, in a lot of seeds, depending on where the bow is, taking 4 minutes to mimic clip is still technically a time save.
Very true.
Excellent. Yes. Well, thanks for the race, you two. That was it was a pleasure to watch. Despite how you might have felt about it, Buane, even the beginning and middle of this seed was looking pretty fun. So.
Oh yeah, sub 5 escapes for both. I know you guys got the hammer, but still very impressive escape times.
It's nice getting something to help you get through a little quicker.
Yeah.
It's not often. I think hammer is actually a little. Hammer with the boots feels just weird. Like everybody's used to kind of hammer escape from the old standard weapon seeds, but hammer and boots is always kind of like you're kind of confused between some strats, and you're thinking about where can I hammer dash, and you really just can't figure out anywhere to hammer dash, so you never do it.
See, the answer is no.
Yeah, it's like maybe there's a cool hammer dash for one of the key guard kills or something weird like that, but I wasn't going to try and experiment on the fly, so.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is your last group race, Jem. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm done now.
Okay, so I think this puts you at 5-1. So I don't know the exact map, but I think this should guarantee you a spot in brackets, right?
Pretty sure, yes.
Okay, I guess we don't know what the seeding is quite yet, but I guess that kind of depends on Buane, what the rest of your games would look like.
Yeah, I gotta play all weekend. What's the tiebreaker? I guess if we both go 5-1, I not to put anybody on the spot since I clearly don't know. But
yeah, I was gonna say just Clear Mouse is our only hope. I don't know.
I would have to
Threw
go
her right
back
under
and
the
check
bus.
rules.
Awesome.
We've got at least 4 more matches for us to even have, potential.
Very true.
Nice
tiebreakers
save.
and
Good work.
arguments.
We'll
Way to
cross
man.
that bridge when we come to
Exactly.
it. You're right.
I remember something about lifetime ladder casual boots rating.
Oh no, Gem.
Which I think you're
hurry
in
up.
first now, aren't you?
Right.
Well, there's probably some casual boots ladder races to come on the ladder between now and when I'll be done. So, I guess
I need
watch
to
out.
grind.
we'll see.
Yeah, but cool. This was super. This was a really exciting race. So thank you so much for letting us restream you guys.
Of course. Thanks for always being there, Gem. GG's. Glad
Yeah,
we were
GG's
kind of
good.
able to go 1-1. I guess that's the way it should turn out, right? So, no
Yeah.
complaints.
Also glad about this.
So, well, thanks for tuning in, everyone who is watching. Make sure you give the runners a follow on Twitch here. They're always when they're playing, you're going to be seeing high level content. That's one. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. I also want to say thank you so much to our tracker, Nervin Deutsch. Like he was like I don't remember how many matches he tracked, at least for like the main tournament recently, maybe at least 30 plus. Super great. And very competent tracker, so thank you so much for taking the time to do so. And thanks to ZSR, in this case, for restreaming and putting this match on the air. Thank you, Files. Really glad to be able to get you back here on commentary. It seems like it's been quite
always
a while.
a pleasure with common in booth with friends, for friends racing. So, and also Gem.
I think with that, maybe we could just let ZSR have the last word and take us out.
All right, thank you guys. Thanks for the run. And thanks for the commentating. Yes, later on CSR we have another match, but it's a Wind Waker randomizer. Winner bracket round 1, Armageddon versus Phonic Link. And for today, I'm gonna rate you over to Twin Mummy 23. She's running some Link to the Past. Say hello, be nice, and have a nice evening, guys.